On this episode, we're sleeping in our SUV at Fort Wilderness, playing bus roulette, and dining at Olivia's Cafe and Skipper Canteen inside the Magic Kingdom. Today is July 4th, 2023. And this is episode 579 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and I am joined by not only my lovely wife, but my amazing wife, Rhonda.
Hey, guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. If you are looking to dine at your next Disneyland or Walt Disney World trip, you did not get those reservations you wanted at 60 days out, have no fear, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
So today we are talking about our weekend and mainly, I guess, well, not mainly, but what we did and sleeping in our car.
Yeah. I'll preface it with saying we got home. It's Sunday. We got home a little after 4.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting down at 5 o'clock after unpacking. We're sitting to record. I took my very normal, usual, crude notes in my notes app on my phone. We just threw together some notes real quick. So we're kind of just going to replay our weekend and go through everything, right?
100%.
So that'll
be the easiest.
Yeah. Let's start off with Fort Wilderness and getting down there. We got down there about 1:30 or so.
You forgot your wallet.
Oh, I did forget my wallet, and we had to turn around. I did not only forget my wallet, I forgot my sunglasses, so I was able to grab those. But later realized I forgot my flip-flops, which is very key when you are sleeping in a vehicle at Fort Wilderness or staying in Fort Wilderness in general. You want something you can quickly put on your feet. What else did I forget? I feel like there was a couple items that we ended up figuring out.
I feel like there was something else that...
We had all the main stuff.
We did.
That was the good part.
We did.
But we'll talk about getting there, about checking in.
Yeah,
we're amidst. Well, by the way, happy birthday, America!
Oh yeah, happy 4th of July.
July 4th. Happy 4th, everyone. Please be safe. Please keep all fingers and toes intact.
Yes.
This evening, if you are the types to blow anything up. For us here, we don't have to light a single firework in our neighborhood.
We just watch.
We do.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding y'all. Our neighborhood. It's not synchronized to music and stuff like you would see at a Disney fireworks show, but you will see more fireworks on the 4th of July in our neighborhood than you will at any given fireworks show at Disney. Don't you agree? It's 360 degrees of fireworks.
Well, pretty much.
They don't last just one day.
I just started to say, did you see on the Mirabella Hood?
They already posted in the...
4th of July is the only day that you're supposed to do fireworks. Which, no, I mean, and I say it like that. I too truly understand we have a nice neighbor.
I don't think there's a need for other.
I do too. We have a nice neighbor that she was in the service and... You know, I feel for those people. I feel for the dog people. In fact, our dogs most recently, I thought they were completely fine. They're not.
Yeah.
They're fine to the point where they want to be in their house and in their bed.
Yep.
Other
Under
than
the covers.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like
maybe a little doggy Xanax or something would probably help.
I mean, we don't have any, but
no, but I do agree. I do think that our neighborhood should. I don't know why this just turned into our neighborhood podcast, but
no, it didn't.
I do think it should be kept to the 4th because you know what to expect. But it would not shock me. Here we are, the second recording tonight. It would not shock me if we get a couple blasts.
100%.
Tonight. Definitely tomorrow night, 100%. And then they do the leftovers on the 5th. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep.
What were we talking
anyways,
about?
happy 4th, and we were headed down to Fort Wilderness, and in my new truck, our new truck. I just love it, and
it's yours.
It is mine.
I don't drive anymore.
One day you'll
know
get
it's so weird. I don't drive anymore. I sold my car. Because we gave our other Forerunner to Kaylin, basically.
Right. And Kaylin is not 16 yet. And when she is, then we are getting your parents' Camry
Yeah, we'll have another
for
Corolla.
Excuse me, Corolla for
It's not
Lacey.
as fancy as a Camry.
Okay, well,
but still,
it's a car and it works and it's good. So
my ride is a golf cart.
Okay. Anyway,
That's my vehicle.
So in my new truck, we packed it all up and headed down to Fort Wilderness, and we got there around 2-ish. Pulling in, there was a very long line of people.
Yeah, the holiday travel is coming.
Yes,
to Disney
starting
right
to
now.
Get in, and so we get in, and the guy, we check in very smoothly, nice,
Horace.
quick, easy.
He was awesome. He was
Horace?
so chill. Yeah.
Oh,
Checking us in.
I was passing him, unfortunately.
Security?
And going to
going into security.
He was great.
I loved him, but he was almost too chill because there was such a long line, and
long line.
He was just talking to us, and he was he was amazing though. It was cool.
But then we go to check in, CJ, and he has the normal stuff, and then he says there are new rules. So he gave us all the stuff. I guess they've been having major problems with children and golf carts.
Yeah, teenagers.
Yep.
Specifically driving the golf carts. So, if you are unfamiliar with Florida, and I don't know what this is like in other states, but in Florida we have two different types of neighborhoods and communities.
Mm-hmm.
One are deemed golf cart communities, which typically the entire community is run and basically owned by the homeowners association,
right?
Which means that the streets are as well. That means that at the age of 14, without a valid driver's license, you are allowed to drive
an ID.
With an ID,
you had to get an ID.
You are allowed to drive a golf cart throughout that community and that neighborhood.
Correct.
Where we are personally, we have a CDD and we have an HOA. Our roads in our neighborhood are owned by the county and run by the county. So they are legal roads that you have to be 16 with a driver's license.
Well, ours is considered a low-speed vehicle. It's not
it's
even
considered a low. They don't want to.
Not even
they
a golf cart anymore.
Carts. They call them low-speed vehicles.
It's got a tag and insurance.
We literally have to tag. We have to title it. We have to get insurance on it. In those golf cart communities, you do not. I can do an entire podcast series on what it's like to own a golf cart.
All right.
Or, I'm sorry, a low-speed vehicle.
Well, let's move on. They do not want to hear about that.
So anyway, Disney's Fort Wilderness goes by the rules of you have to have a valid driver's license.
Correct.
Even though they are renting out golf carts, or you can rent golf carts from external sites like Camper Rental Adventures, which we'll be doing the first weekend in August. They don't have to be tagged and titled, but you have to have a valid driver's license.
Yes.
So they've been having a lot of issues with that.
And guys, if you do go to Fort Wilderness and you do rent them, just also be, nice and respectful of the buses. We saw, unfortunately, a couple of people on golf carts passing the bus. You're not supposed to.
No.
On the other side, you're supposed to stop almost like a school bus, basically. From what I saw, the guy getting on to trying to get on to him.
He was so mad.
He was sad. It was sad. He was a nice little man.
Well, this was a roundabout way of getting to checking in. So I'll let you take over because I keep interrupting.
Yeah, you do.
I apologize.
So anyways, CJ was like checking us in. He told us about the new rules. And then we asked us, we don't have a site yet. Basically like assigned. So would you like one? And I'm like, yes, anywhere near a comfort station.
Mm-hmm.
So he pulls his book out and he's like, how about 2061? And I was like, perfect. So
right next door to a comfort station.
It was amazing.
And I'll say one thing, as I just said, I wouldn't interject, but as we just continually, after all these years, continue to learn things, we used to be big proponents of online check-in. And I do still think it's wonderful. And a lot of times you could get a site earlier. You can get a room, whatever, like on your way down, whatever. But they will put that $100 hold on your credit card if you book online or check in online.
Yep.
They do not if you check in person and say, please do not put incidentals. I'm not going to put a card down for incidentals. So we have stopped doing online check-in and we just check in person because we just don't want that $100 hold.
Yeah. So and we made sure. I was like, CJ, that's not gonna have a hold. And he was like, yeah. So we went to our site, and it was great because it really was funny because, I mean, in reality, what it took us like 15 minutes to set up.
Yeah.
And I say like 15 minutes because pretty much you had to pull everything out of the back,
Yeah.
blow up the air mattress, put all that together, and then, put the fans and put the things where they needed to be, like in my seat and Jeremy's seat. So it was quick and easy, and we weren't really profusely sweating, whereas like when we set up the pop-up, it was awful. We were drenched in sweat. So then after that,
well, talk about our setup a little bit as far as the air mattress. I know we kind of mentioned this on a previous episode when we said we were going to do this, but I guess just get into like what specifically this setup is, because it is a very specific air mattress.
Yeah, a tent site has a little bit of paved when you first pull in, and then there's more just nice rock, which is really nice. So we pulled the 4Runner all the way to the front because we had a canopy tent thing, and we had some chairs. So, and on tents you have electric and water.
Mm-hmm.
Also that site and most tent sites, which I absolutely love, and a lot of sites around Fort Wilderness, but some of the bigger sites, because I guess they needed to knock out some trees, some of them aren't as like shaded, but usually when you're in a camper, you've got the air condition, doesn't matter. Most of the tent sites I feel like I've always seen are very shaded, and this one was super shaded. It's awesome. So we actually got online. You can buy a SUV air mattress. You can buy a van air mattress. You can look them up. They're on Amazon. We got a cheap one because we weren't sure if this was going to work.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to put in a lot of money.
Right.
So I will say if it pops or if it whatever one day, I will put in a little more money for this and get a better one. Not because of sleeping or the comfortability of it, just because durability
maybe, but
correct.
We'll see. But this one, I mean, certainly lasted
because we were very comfortable,
very, very comfortable.
Yep.
And we can we can talk all about the actual, like, I know we're going to kind of go through the weekend, but we can talk about the sleeping situation, the arrangements now. So we blew up this air mattress, and what it's fitted for an SUV is you have those back wheel wells. So basically it is made and has different sections that blow up so that it really, think about opening up the back of an SUV. You have the wheel wells on either side, but obviously when you lay down that second row seating, that's much wider. So this is cut. Yeah. Would you say almost to fit in perfectly?
Yeah. It kind of
so
bends a little bit, like
So it kind of just
molds.
It's like fitted.
Yeah, super cool.
So we set this up, and then on top of that, we actually put one of our thicker comforters that we have instead of just like a fitted sheet, because I felt like that was going to give us a little more padding. Mm-hmm. Then we had a standard flat sheet, and then we actually had Rhonda's new favorite Disney blanket, which is real fluffy, that she bought from Coronado Springs down at Panchitos most recently. And we put, in the passenger seat, we had our suitcase. In the driver's seat, we had our kind of like overnight stuff, a couple other things like type snacky, drinky type stuff. We had brought a cooler with a bunch of water that was set outside. And then, we have this 10x10 canopy, pop-up canopy that we bought from Walmart for a camping trip we did a while ago when we rented from Cruise America. And we set that up basically covering the back half of the 4Runner.
Yes.
But then coming out, like Rhonda said, where we could put our two little camping chairs and kind of have a little space to sit. I was shocked at how comfortable it was.
I was too.
We had a fan. Our friends across the street were going to buy one now.
Yes,
they lent us a window fan. Think of one of the expanding window fans that you can put in your window at home that draws hot air from outside and turns it into cool air inside. We basically had that sitting on the center console in front of us. And
it was kind of more really. I fixed the two chairs.
You set it up perfectly.
Where it kind of like leaned. It was like sitting on the folded down seats and leaning against the. Yeah. So it just worked really well. It was just absolutely perfect. Out of our way, not in our out of our way from our heads, like, but having that nice airflow in there was amazing.
Yeah, because you got electric on the site, so I brought extension cords and power cords and all, and we had bought these screens that cover the doors, the windows on the doors. So you're able to open your door, you cover the entire window portion with these screens, and then you roll the windows down. And
you can go all the way down if you want. I did not, just because I was a little nervous.
Critters.
And honestly, because of, the going into it, what you just said, all the electric stuff.
Yeah. So we basically ran extension cord up through the little cracked windows in there. So we had the fan running, we had all this going. I was under the impression going into this that I was going to be awake in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, just hot as could be. And I was not for one single moment. It was an absolute perfect temperature in there in the vehicle the whole night. Everybody ahead of time was like, make sure you got a full tank of gas. You're going to have to turn on the car and run that AC, and you're going to have to, and not even for a second did I think we needed it. You literally ended up using the thick blanket.
I did.
It was that comfortable in there.
Yeah, I pulled it up over my legs. I will tell you, when we got back that night, I did turn the car on and cool it down first before we started putting the screens on and everything, because it was
that probably did help a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I planned on doing, and I would do that any other time. I mean, heck, even heat. But then, I guess really, if you wouldn't need heat. You'd have a little heated fan.
I don't think so, but I don't know that at any point, even if you're there in the cooler months of Florida, which obviously can get pretty cold.
Get pretty cold.
It can. I can't imagine though sleeping
just
in
using
there,
blankets and stuff.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I can't imagine sleeping in there with all the windows up the entire night, just based on airflow.
Right.
Like, you're gonna always want those windows down a little bit, and
100%.
maybe have more blankets.
Yeah.
So let's cover this portion, and then we'll talk about the rest of our weekend. How did you feel about doing this? Do you want to do it again? Do you?
100%. I actually took a shower that night. We were right there. Because of my new tattoo, I was like, it's just gonna be easier. And I love Disney Fort Wilderness showers.
Those comfort stations, and they don't call them bathrooms; they call them comfort stations, because they're about as clean as anything you will ever see.
I mean, there's times where I've smelled bleach in there, and I still wear water shoes or whatever you call them. Like I just wore my Crocs, obviously, but still, like, it is just. I've almost been, what do you call it, like, tempted to actually like take my shoes off. I would not. Yeah. But I've been tempted just because it's that clean.
It is that clean.
But yeah, so I took a shower and I came back and we slept. I think we slept really good. I think being that we did go to bed later, it was 11 something, 11:30, almost midnight. And then, you're really getting up around that time, like 8 at the latest, I feel like.
And I was up at 6:50 to go ahead and secure Tron, which I did.
Yay.
So method worked. It had no glitches.
Yay.
Almost.
We'll
MDE was being a little weird, but anyway.
That was being weird all day.
Yeah. If you're listening and you're thinking, Rhonda and Jeremy, you are insane people for sleeping in your vehicle at Fort Wilderness, I would never, ever do that. You're not wrong. This is 100% not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I get it. I understand people that go, I don't want to sleep in a tent. I don't want to sleep in a camper. I get it. But this is an option for us now. It
is, and more for me, because I never really liked the tents anyways, because let's be honest, it's just paper.
It's
not paper.
Of work.
It's just
is my thing.
It's if it poured rain, I'm always scared, like, oh God, is it gonna fall in?
What if there was a bear?
Which
there was a few weeks ago at Fort Wilderness.
There was. I started to say there's not bears, but
there was a bear.
There was. Exactly. Even raccoons and anything else. Like, I am up off the ground.
Yep.
I am in a tank of a truck.
Yep.
So I'm good. Like
Yeah.
that to me is something better than a tent.
Well, and I'll say this,
but it's not better than a camper. Like I love.
Right. Yeah.
When we go in August.
Oh, I'm so excited for August with Camper Rental Adventures.
2 bathrooms.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. That's the way to go.
Air condition.
But if you are in a position like we are that go often, you want to be on property. We were planning to be in the parks a lot. We really needed somewhere just to lay our head, but we wanted it to be convenient using Disney transportation. We were all in at $127 a night for that night last night. Now, that's taking aside what we spent on the air mattress and the screens, but that's that one-time purchase. That was an investment.
Right.
There's a weekend at the end of August that is $80 a night that we could go. There's going to be
end of
weekends.
August. That makes me.
I'm not saying we're going to.
I know, but I mean,
I'm saying in general, there's a lot of times you can get these sites for $100 a night.
Yeah.
And for us, that's viable.
Yeah.
Again, I don't expect anyone to say, "Hey, we're going on a week vacation at Disney. Where should we stay?" In your car at Fort Wilderness. No, nobody's doing that for a week. You're insane.
Yeah.
But this gave us a great test, and we think we may look at October doing 2 or 3 nights in the truck.
Yeah, I can see it.
And let's see how it goes.
I could see it. It'll be very interesting because of like what to pack, more to pack, like stuff like that.
I loved it, and that's why in the intro I said my lovely, which you are, and I always say lovely, but I said amazing wife because you went on this adventure with me. And you're totally cool with it, which I'm super thankful for. I mean, that's why we work so well together is because we have that like mind and all, and we love doing things like this. So Fort Wilderness aside, sleeping in your car aside, let's talk about the rest of the weekend in a little game we like to call Bus Roulette.
Yeah.
So how did that go after what is Bus Roulette and what happened? Where did we end up after we got the site set up? And we headed up front. By the way, I will say, and we love Fort Wilderness. Highly recommend if your trip includes it or has the ability to renting a golf cart. Yeah. Highly recommend if you can't do that and you're driving, bring your bikes.
We'll probably bring
transportation is a pain in the you-know-what.
Yes.
Because there are internal buses that run all throughout the campground to take you to the main transportation centers, to the boats, all of that stuff.
Right. So we did that once we set everything up and we started to head to our Bus Roulette. So it was super funny because the sweet little old man, we were standing there and he was like, "No, you need the bus on the other side." So he showed us, he goes, "But stay under the shade." So we kept waiting and we kept waiting. And sure enough, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, well, look who you got." And I'm like thinking, I would have sat on this bus.
We could have been sitting in air conditioning
and just ridden the whole time. But anyways, it's fine.
For anyone, I will say this, for anyone who complains about or worries about bus situations at Coronado, Riverside, Caribbean Beach, Saratoga, Old Key West, these giant resorts with multiple stops, those are awesome compared to Fort Wilderness.
Yeah.
That's why you rent a golf cart or you bring your bikes.
Yep. So he picked us up and then we got to the front and it was super funny because we weren't too far, and actually coming home, we didn't take a bus, we just walked. But with that being said, I think now the way the night ended and jumping a little ahead, if we would have walked, it could have completely changed our night.
Yeah.
Did you think about that?
No, you're 100% right. Yeah.
So we get up there and our thing is whatever first bus comes, we are going to get on and we are going to go to that park. So we're not going to Disney Springs.
No reservation needed because we're after 2 p.m.
Yep.
Which is pass holders now do not need reservations.
Yay.
Except for Magic Kingdom on weekends. And then there's like 18 other little disclosures, but we'll go through those another time.
So we walk up and we actually look at the times when the buses should be coming. And according to the times, the first bus was supposed to be Animal Kingdom, which we'd have been fine with. But It was not. It was Hollywood Studios. And we were super excited because we wanted to do a few things at Hollywood Studios. So we got on that bus and we went to Hollywood. First thing we did is we went to the pop-up Indiana Jones bar.
The Den of Destiny.
Yep. That was super cool. I loved all the stuff that was in there. There's only 2 alcoholic drinks, which was a margarita.
Well, cocktails, you should say. They had beers and they had wines.
Yes.
But cocktails, they had a margarita, and then they had a whiskey-based weathered fedora, which is basically an old-fashioned.
And you got that, and I got the margarita. How do I say this in the nicest way possible? Go in there, look at it, and go next door to
go to Tune In Lounge
and get you a
or go to the
drink.
Oasis Canteen and get a real drink, or go to Baseline and see Mike.
Yeah.
These are
all
pre-mixed. They're pre-mixed in a machine, and they're not even shy about it. I mean, to be honest, they're right there in front of you, like, hey, we're just gonna stick this under the little nozzle, and you're gonna get your beverage for $15.50,
$28 for mine and yours.
Oh, is that what it was? That's right. Because they were not allowed to take tips.
Yep.
That's right.
Jeremy tried to do that, which was super nice, and she was sweet.
100% worth going in, though, and seeing, because they have all this memorabilia.
Correct.
They have props from the actual movies. Like, really cool. I would just not waste your money getting a drink there.
I agree.
And there's no seating or any sort of bar tables or whatever.
You can stand at
inside.
a table outside, though.
Outside. Yeah, you got to go outside.
Yep.
So we did that.
Then we basically went over to meet the new live action Ariel.
Yeah.
That was super awesome.
So drinks are not, alcoholic beverages are not allowed to be taken in. Carlos was awesome.
He was.
Well, we were walking up and I said to Rhonda, I said, babe, I don't think we can take alcoholic drinks in. And Rhonda went up and said, oh, hey, excuse me, Carlos, are we allowed to take these in? He said, no. He said, and he was just super cool. First of all, he was like, thank you for asking, because most people just try and walk in with them, which is understandable.
Yeah.
I don't know why you can't, but that's fine.
I'm assuming because there is carpet in there.
Yeah. Well, there's all those props and memorabilia, like
and alcoholic
legit
drinks
Disney
are
stuff.
not covered.
Yeah.
But
nothing is anymore. They got rid of plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? So even a soda. So I don't think you're allowed to take any beverage.
I just heard say, I don't know if you're allowed.
I don't think you're allowed to take any open beverage in.
Yeah.
But Carlos was super cool. He was like, if you want to leave them here with me, that's fine. He's like, I can't guarantee that they'll still be here when you get back.
Yeah.
But he literally said, he goes, no, seriously. If you would like, I will set them over here behind me so that you can have them when you get out. And we're like, no,
but
we'll go around the corner and we'll chill for a little bit.
But he was cool because when you said that, then he was like, all right, are y'all going to try to see Ariel? And we were like, yeah. Well, he goes, this was 4:25.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Yeah.
We totally.
So glad he told us this.
Yeah. So he's like, she shuts down. We shut the doors at 4:30.
Yeah, the line for her.
Her, and we're like, oh my goodness. So
and this is in one man stream.
Yep.
Over there heading towards.
And that's when he was
land.
like, seriously, you can leave the drinks, and we're like, and it's like, no, it's all right. So, we finish, and basically, we're entering. I think it was more like 4:27.
It was on the.
It was real close. We went straight. We didn't even look at the member. We've seen it, but we didn't even like, oh, look. No, we almost beelined it for there. So we get there, and pretty soon, a few minutes later, a cast member was coming back, and then we were in line, and it was hysterical because the sweet 3 girls behind us.
They were there for a teacher conference.
Stuff.
Thank you, teachers.
Yes.
Very, very much.
Yes.
Both of my parents were educators their entire career.
Yes. And it was super funny because she had to go pee. So she was going to go out and she's like, the door's shut.
Yep.
And there's
no peeing for you. You're locked in here.
There's no way out.
You will pee your pants.
Yeah. I guess she'd have to go through and just be like, excuse me. So thank God she could hold it and she was fine. But it was super funny because, so anyways, the doors were locked and you didn't get to go. And we went and saw her.
Took 28 minutes.
28 minutes, okay.
They were saying 30.
30, and then I think because it was the end of the time, more 30, but he said it can go from 30 to 45.
Yep.
But she was spending time with every person because sometimes it would take a little bit for the line to move, and then all of a sudden the line would move. And like with the girls behind us, I was like, look, I just want to show her my tattoos and get pictures. Like I don't even need to do anything else.
This was top 5 meet and greets. I'll put it up there with some of our meet and greets with Tiana, Dr. Facilier during the Halloween party, Stitch is always wonderful meet and greet.
Love him.
This was outstanding, and the backdrop and all is gorgeous.
It is. It was amazing. She was amazing. She was just
she was so good. And
she loved my tattoos.
Yeah, Rhonda you showed her like because you have the fork. You know, you've got the dingle hopper, and you showed her that, and we have this wonderful, again, PhotoPass was on point.
Oh,
There's back-to-back photos where Rhonda is pointing at the dingle hopper tattoo on her arm, and you see Ariel looking at it, and then the next photo is her with her hands like
she's
on
like,
the on her face, like it was like Home Alone, you know, and it was just amazing. But then you showed her the Ursula side, with
and
your
she was
villains,
like,
and she's like, "Ooh,"
and then she's like, "There's nobody's voice in there, is it?" And I was like, "No," I was like, "Nope." And then
she was so good.
She was, and then we were leaving, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, tell Scuttle and Sebastian we said hi and Flounder."
Yep.
And she's like, "I will." I haven't heard in the Scuttle up in the.
Yeah, didn't she say Scuttlebutt? Or did she not?
No,
I almost thought she did at one point.
No, I don't think so. But it was just great.
It was so good. We don't know how long this meet and greet's going to be around. I hope that it stays for quite a while.
Yeah.
You know, this is a very rotating meet and greet. This used to be where
Mike and
Sully were. This used to be where Star-Lord and Groot were. So it usually rotates. If you have an opportunity, I highly recommend you get in there for that.
Absolutely.
It was outstanding. Disney, can you please figure out Rise of Resistance?
Yeah.
We're very positive Disney folks. You guys
100%.
know that. But this is ridiculous.
We were headed there, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, was it 5 minutes for alien swirling saucers?"
Yeah, so we did.
So, and that's always fun. We love riding that because we just run into each other. It's just super fun for us. We laugh. So we rode that, and then we were headed to Rise, and it started to rain. Like I'm like, oh, here comes the Florida rain, and it started to rain, and I'm kind of running to go, and unfortunately, they were like, it's down, and I was like, are you kidding? So then I like look back at Jeremy. I'm like, what now? What? And he was like, well, let's go see if Mike's at baseline. And I was like, I need to eat.
Yeah.
Like, I need some carbs. Like, we haven't eaten yet because then this whole bus roulette, we were going to see what resort was next. And I was like, dude, I got to eat. So we went and saw Mike. Mike was there, was super excited. The drops of rain started to get bigger. So we walked up under the side and then got into baseline, very minimum wetness of us, and then saw Mike, and then got a nice pretzel, and then there was 2 seats at the end. Jeremy got how was your
Mike,
drink?
So this actually came.
I did not get a drink.
Yeah, this actually came from one of our Wonderland crew members. That we were like, hey, you know, if we show up to a park, like, what do you want? And Lisa said, just go to a bar and tell them what you like. Yeah, she said, go to a bar, tell them what you like, and for them just to make something for you. So we went in there and went up to Mike, and I was like, Mike, how about a whiskey drink? And he's like, okay. He's like, well, we have this strawberry lemonade. That would actually go really well with the whiskey. I was like, let's do it. Maker's Mark, go for it.
Nice.
It was delicious.
Good.
I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then we sat there. We sat there and had the pretzel.
And he
gave us
double cheese and a side of mustard, which
for
is
you.
For me. I love it.
It's so good.
It was just so good. That pretzel's stupid good.
I absolutely love it. So basically, from here, we were like, all right.
You waited 5 minutes, of course. Yeah. And Florida stopped raining.
Yep. And it was you don't like the weather.
So then
just
we
wait
were
5 minutes.
I just ate the pretzel, but I was like, I'm hungry.
Right. We needed a meal.
And this was like 5 something, right?
Yeah, this would have been a little after 5. So our whole plan to continue this bus roulette was we are going to walk out to the bus station. Values aside, because we were looking at a sit down or a bar lounge type situation for dinner. We said, not counting values, whatever moderate or deluxe bus shows up first, we're getting on it.
Yep.
And that will determine where we eat. So what bus was sitting there ready for us to run to
and it was
when we showed up?
The only bus.
Yep.
It was Old Key West. So we're like, all right. And I'm like, Olivia's. I was super excited because the only other time we've ever eaten at Olivia's was breakfast. And I mean, their grits are
which
the
was
best.
Also on a whim. If you remember, we were staying at All Star Movies. This would have been 6 years ago, probably 5-6 years ago. We had the girls and all, and it was our checkout day, and we woke up, and for whatever reason, we're like, let's have breakfast before we go home. It was on a Sunday, and I just looked at times, and I said, "Oh, this Olivia's Cafe." Like we were just young bucks then. We were noobs.
Bucks.
We were noobs. We didn't know what was going on. And I was like, this Olivia's Cafe looks like it has a good breakfast. This is Old Key West. I had been there before to like Old Key West in general, but we had never really been there. It's like, all right. So we went there and we had brunch, and the grits
were fantastic.
They're the best grits.
Yeah, I think so.
Ever.
Yeah, they're so good.
But
we haven't had them in 6 years. So.
Yeah, but we're going to have
dinner. We were so excited. So we're on the bus, and Jeremy actually was like looking for a dinner, and I think it was like 7:30 or so.
Yep.
So then he was like, well, all right, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to go ahead and do the walk-up list, or we're going to go ahead and do Gurgling Suitcase, because they have like food and stuff.
Yep.
And it's a tiny bar.
Very small.
Tiny. So with all that being said, we got closer, and he was able, still on the bus, to join while on the bus, and it said 20 minutes. And we were like, sweet. So we get off the bus, we head over there, we look through the shops and just kind of hang out. Unfortunately, it was taking longer.
Yeah.
So we go and ask, and unfortunately, they said that they were having, some weight problems or backup or whatever they said, which we were like, that's fine. Running behind, Well, it was funny because then they told us to come see the hostess, and it was weird because it didn't say your table was ready. And she was like, do you want to sit outside or inside? And she's like, inside will still be another 10 minutes or so. And then
I was like, originally I said, outside is fine.
Right.
And then you very, very, very smartly was like,
well,
it is 1 trillion degrees outside.
It is, but also, and we were hungry, but
Yeah.
also I saw a couple of tables, and I was like, all right, if they're at, I think it's not going to be 10 minutes. I think it was 5, maybe, if that. And then we were sat where the people were getting up that I saw, and I was like, yay. So we get sat, and it was around 6:15 or so, right, that we were sat? Or
it was closer to 7. Yeah, we were almost close to 7 at this point.
Okay.
Yep.
Which, that's fine because it was still earlier than the 7:30.
I mean, considering an hour prior, we had no reservations for anywhere to eat.
Yep.
This is pretty impressive. I will say this weekend overall, the crowds are coming in today on the recording, and they're going to be there for the 3rd. They're going to be there for the 4th, 5th, probably the rest of the week. We saw very, very low crowd levels. We saw very low wait times.
Nice.
I mean, again, I know that Alien Swirling Saucers isn't, an e-ticket ride that's getting up there, but a walk-on a Saturday
5 minutes
in
it wasn't a
summer?
But yeah.
And Disney's bringing back bounce-back offers.
Yes.
They're hurting right now. We keep saying this. They want your business.
Of course.
So give it to them by contacting mainstmagictravel.com.
Yes.
Did you like that plug?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good one? Okay.
Good job. All right. So as Jeremy likes to say, my normal bullet points are Olivia's Cafe is located at Disney's Old Key West Resort. It is American casual dining. And you do get 10% for APs and Disney Visa. Your times are brunch is 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Your dinner is 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
And when dining plan comes back, both brunch and dinner will be 1 credit.
Nice.
Just as a note. So this is the South.
Yeah.
This is Southern at its best. The decor, the feel, everything. What I love so much, because this is OG Disney Vacation Club. When you're waiting in that lobby, and actually throughout the restaurant, I believe it was, right? There are photos that Disney Vacation Club members have brought that they, in a frame, that they hang all over the place.
Yeah, it's super cool.
It sadly reminds me a little bit of a similar place up near my parents, Dead Dog Saloon, where the name is very fitting. I'm glad this is not called Dead Person Olivia's.
Dead Person Olivia's.
Because my parents who retired to Surfside Beach, there's a place near them called Dead Dog Saloon, and it sounds so morbid that I'm going to say this out loud. When you go in, the walls are covered with patrons' dogs that have passed. And they bring in a photo of their dog framed and they hang it on the wall. And so we'd go there a lot. That was like our go-to place with my parents. And we were there one year, and we had our first dog ever together. Rhonda bought me a dog when I moved here 18 years ago. Holy moly. Rex, sweet little Chihuahua. And we were there one time, and we were like, we just inquired. We're like, so how do you get a dog like up on the wall? And they didn't say it this way, but they were basically like, well, they have to die, and then you, then you bring in a photo of your dead dog.
Rex was still alive.
It's not called a live dog saloon, right? And Rex was alive, and 3-4 months later, he passed away very suddenly. We did not expect it at all. And we went back to my parents not long after, and we had the photo, and Rex now lives at Dead Dog Saloon. But so this is similar, but not in a morbid way, where there's all these, but it's cool.
How do you know? How do you know these aren't dead people?
I don't know if these people are
what
alive.
What if they're all like,
it's not in the Haunted Mansion. That would be weird. I'm sure some of these folks have unfortunately passed that are on the wall, because this is going back decades, but it's just really cool. And especially because like you're looking at photos of like, decades ago, and it's so cool to see like the attire, and you're like,
oh yeah,
that was the 90s. It's anyway.
That is super cool.
So their menu is all very, very Southern. They've got things for appetizers like shrimp fritters. They've got Caesar salads with shrimp or chicken. What did we opt for?
They did.
Well, first, do you want to talk drinks?
Sure.
Okay, what'd you get?
Just a dirty martini.
Yeah.
I was like, can I just get a dirty martini? It was
good
very good. Very good.
Not
very
a Jock
good.
Lindsay's dirty martini.
Oh god.
I got the Whiskey Breeze. This is bourbon. It's got lime juice, guava, mango, 1550. It was good, but Maryland boy.
Yep. So they have a crab cake on it, and I looked at Jeremy and I said, "All right, kid, this is all you. Do you want to try?" And he's like, let's go ahead. And I'm like, all right. So it says pan-seared and served with jalapeno aioli, grilled pineapple salsa, and a
Chiote.
It looks like coyote almost, but slaw for $15.
Yeah.
You got two crab cakes, right?
Yep.
How big would you say?
3 inches.
Okay.
3 inches across. Yeah. And about 3/4 inch thick.
Okay. I liked it. What did you think, Maryland boy?
I really enjoyed them. This is here's my issue with crab cakes. You'll sometimes be somewhere in the South, and on the menu they use the word Maryland. They say Maryland crab cake, and they're full of poo-poo. Okay, because it's not a Maryland crab cake. This is not claiming to be a Maryland crab cake.
Okay,
this is a crab cake. It is it's very fine. The meat is very fine. Whereas a Maryland crab cake, you get
lumpier, chunkier. Okay.
Chunks of meat. This has a really crisp crust and sear on it. You don't normally get that with the Maryland crab cake. I thought it was excellent because I was not comparing it to a Maryland crab cake.
Okay.
I was comparing it to, this is a Florida crab cake.
Cool.
And I thought it was wonderful. I think
Awesome.
I even told Rhonda, I was like, they could do this as an entree. They could make a bigger version,
Yeah.
put it on a bun with lettuce, tomato,
Mhm.
and it would be an outstanding crab cake sandwich as far as like Florida goes.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. I would get it again.
Nice.
But Maryland crab cake still reigns supreme.
Oh, of
like
course.
they are the bomb. Let's talk about entrees. There's not a lot of them, but they have things like a, very oddly, because this is a southern restaurant, they have a tofu and coconut curry. They've got slow-cooked prime rib, a bacon cheeseburger. They do have a catch of the day, but Rhonda and I opted to each get an entree that I think we both thought was pretty southern. What'd you get?
Well, first of all, I asked if they could do shrimp and grits. She said that is only on their brunch.
Yep.
And I'm like, dadgummit. Then I was like, basically, is there any grit stuff? And she's like, no. So I'm like, all right. So they have what's called the Cayusa shrimp pasta. I don't even know if I said that right.
Cayusa.
It is sauteed shrimp, zucchini, yellow squash, grape tomato, spinach, tossed with penne pasta and pesto cream sauce for $28. That sounded right up my alley since I couldn't get shrimp and grits. And I love a pesto sauce. And then a cream pesto sauce is fantastic. So this is what I got. And so the shrimp were definitely boathouse shrimp.
There it is.
They were the tiny, but there was a lot of them.
There were a ton of them.
A lot where you had a good you could almost have a shrimp bite every bite.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, it was really good. The penne pasta was fantastic and all the vegetables. I really, really like this dish. What did you think? Because you tasted it.
I thought it was outstanding. I loved it. This, I mean, I'm gonna go to Tony's Town Square. This pasta dish was better than anything at Tony's Town Square that we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't hate Tony's Town Square. We really
Right.
did enjoy it.
Right.
But this is better than anything at Tony's Town Square.
So it's
And
more elevated.
while the shrimp were small, they were super flavorful.
Yeah.
And they were cooked to perfection.
Yep.
I may or
very
may
good.
not have eaten your
You did.
leftovers cold
You did.
around 11 that night while we're
You
sitting
did.
at the campground.
You did.
Also, you do get included,
oh,
not
that's
free.
right. I forgot about
Included,
this.
you get a pineapple bread
Mm-hmm.
with butter.
I'm thinking they use pineapple juice with it because it's a very
Yes.
light hint.
Yeah, it's not like it has
just so-
chunks of pineapple
Oh
cooked
my
into
goodness,
or anything.
it's
very light.
so good.
But it was delicious, and our incredible cast member Sarah, she was so wonderful.
Mhm. I was taking all this
Yeah,
home
you,
anyway.
yeah, you were like, can we
There's
take?
only 2 pieces of bread
Yeah,
left.
'cause it's almost like a pull-apart bread.
Yeah.
The way that it's baked.
Yep.
And she was like, "Do you want me to just throw a whole other loaf in the leftovers
Yes,
here?" And you're like,
please.
"Yeah," and she did.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yep.
So I went ahead and I opted for their southernmost buttermilk chicken. Get the
Mhm.
reference? Southernmost?
Mhm.
Old Key West?
Yeah,
Key West? Southernmost Point?
We all
This
get
is-
it, Jeremy.
This is mashed potatoes, southern gravy, biscuit, and seasonal vegetables for $25.
And she asked you if you wanted the gravy on the side or on it. And I think you were smart to opt for
Mhm.
it on the side,
Yeah.
which you did. I'd be curious of what it looked like just all
Yeah.
together because it was really good.
It was really, really good. So I actually expected this come out to be like a bone-in fried chicken breast,
Mm-hmm.
and it was not. It's
Uh-huh.
basically fried chicken.
Yep.
Right?
Like chicken, like steak fry.
Yeah, it's like
fried-
chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
But it's chicken fried
No,
chicken.
Yeah.
This was so good. The crust was so good. The chicken was perfectly cooked. The mashed potatoes were incredibly
They were
creamy.
so good.
The seasonal vegetable were green beans, but they were cooked so perfectly where you could have taken one and snapped it. You know what I mean? It's that perfect consistency. The biscuit was super dry. I did not care for the biscuit.
But you made
With
it
the gravy,
with the gravy,
it was
and
outstanding.
it was great. Right.
And this gravy was super flavorful.
So good.
Yeah, I like the gravy on the side just because you don't know how kitchens are working. You don't know if something's sitting for a little bit. I think if the chicken and everything had been smothered in the gravy, it might not have been as crisp because maybe it was sitting under the gravy. I don't know, but I was perfectly cool dipping it.
Yes.
And I gotta say, man, I didn't even realize the price is $25 for that dish is a really good price. And I cleaned my plate.
Yes, you did. You had no leftovers.
No,
I did.
None. But both of these dishes were a really good size. And when we get to our next meal on Sunday today, you're going to hear much different pricing. Bit more. Mm-hmm. Which is okay because we'll talk about it. But I'm actually shocked looking at that. This is a $25 dish.
Well, and then she came around and asked if we wanted dessert. And I said, only if you have creme brulee or banana bread.
Oh my goodness, I did not put this in the notes, did
bread pudding. She said, we don't have that, but we have Olivia's Banana Foster for $9. It's warm banana bread, bananas Foster sauce, and vanilla ice cream. This was disappointing, but good if that makes any sense. Yeah. The banana bread was very dense.
Very, very dense. That was my biggest complaint.
But you had the ice cream, you had bananas, you had the caramel sauce in the sauce, and so eating it all together, it was still good. Would I get this again? Maybe not. Depending if I'm in that mood of like, because I mean, I ate the rest of the bananas. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
The bananas were super good. Yeah. They were caramelized and like, I will say this: if I'm gonna get a bananas Foster, I want to see fire in front of my face. Serve this sucker tableside and light that mother on fire.
That'd be amazing. They also do have chocolate lava cakes, of course, a key lime tart, coconut panna cotta. I didn't even look at that. I don't know what I would have really gotten. The only reason we said that is because it was Bananas Foster and we were super excited. Again, a little disappointed, but it's fine because that's okay. Yeah. But it was funny. I do remember Jeremy saying like, holy crap, we just ate drinks, dinner for like around $100.
It was with tip. It was only slightly over $100,
which is crazy.
Yeah. Because I had a gift card for $130. And then as of this morning, I had $23 left. So it was $107 with tip for a sit-down meal, appetizer, 2 entrees, 2 drinks, and a dessert. That's really good.
Yep.
Olivia's is legit. Yep. It really, really is.
I would love to go back. Because there are shrimp and grits on the brunch. Yeah. I do want to go back for a brunch.
Yes. So our big thing was, all right, whatever resort we end up at, we got to figure out how to get back to Fort Wilderness.
Oh, yeah.
So we walked out of Olivia's and we're like, you know what? Roulette is still going.
The boat.
Now it's boat roulette.
Yeah.
Because it's sitting right there. And where is the boat going to take us on our next adventure?
Disney Springs.
Yeah.
And then going to Disney Springs, we could just take the bus and head straight to our Fort Wilderness. And then I was like, "Ooh, we're going! It's July. It's July 1st.
Happy birthday month!
It is. It's my birthday month." So, when we were there last, my daughter drug me into Kinder Scott, and I was like, "I want one of these." You're supposed to get 50% off, I think, for your birthday, but what I wanted, it's because I got expensive taste apparently. I was only getting 25% off, but hey, 25%.
Yeah, take it.
I was super excited. So I got a Kinder Scott and got engraved Ohana back on because my other Disney one that I had an Ohana one with Mickey, and I don't remember who. I think it was Rebecca, the brand, but people were trying to look at it and it's basically rubbed off. Yeah. So with all that being said, I was super excited to get one. And then I was like, I need to go to Basin because I like they have chapstick that is tinted. And I think I'm going to start moving away from like a lipstick and do chapstick. And so I wanted
Does that work well in the parks for you? Like, I know people are always asking, like, how do you do your hair? How do you do your makeup? How did you do your hair all weekend, by the way?
I was just up in a bun. Up in my, what I call my messy bun.
Yeah.
Because it was hot.
It was so hot.
I don't wear my hair down at all during these months.
Yeah.
So we went to Basin. I got my 3 chapsticks. So I have all 4 of them now. They're tinted in different colors all the way to almost like a reddish, but it's really not. It's still super simple, which I love. So it went there, and then I got my Kendra Scott, and then I was like, okay, let's get out of here because like I don't need to spend any more money.
Right, but we were able to hop on a bus right back to Fort Wilderness, main upfront bus depot, and then we did decide to walk back to the campsite.
We did.
Which was perfectly fine, and
it was fine.
We went ahead. Yeah, we got a good enough night's sleep.
Yep.
I did have to utter the phrase that I never thought I would in my entire life. I had to say to Rhonda, "Why would a squirrel steal your contacts?"
I took my contacts.
You were so worried.
On the.
I know. You took them out on the picnic table.
The picnic table, and I was leaving them out there, but they're in a little container.
But you said, "What if a squirrel steals them?" And I literally had to respond to a grown 43-year-old, almost 44-year-old woman. Why would a squirrel steal your contacts?
Because maybe they think it's
How did it work out? How did it work out?
It was still there this morning. If it would have been gone, I'd have been so mad at you. It would have
been hilarious. But there'd be a squirrel with great vision out there. He's like, I couldn't find nuts before this. Now I can. Who would have known that a squirrel and Rhonda have the same vision issues? So we'll talk about Sunday morning. We woke up, we got packed up, and we went to go ahead and start the car. How was that? How'd that go for you?
It didn't go. It didn't start. It did a weird thing that I've never, because again,
You've never had a dead battery?
Not in a 2020.
Oh, yeah. It's an awful sound. I went to the bathroom. I'm walking out and I was thinking, what is that horrific sound? And it's Rhonda trying to start the truck.
Because in a normal car, and I say normal, in an old car, because I don't have newer cars, it's that where, you turn it over and click, 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 click. Like it's very known to be a dead battery. It was weird. I have a push start. It's weird. I didn't know.
It sounded bad.
The windshield wipers went on. I was like, what is going on?
Really?
Yeah. It was so weird. And then the awful sound. And I'm like, son of a gun. I think it's a dead battery. So I was like, we got to get somebody, which this was a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you, Jesus, for the wonderful timing of everything, because right about then I said, Jeremy, we're going to have to flag somebody down. And there was somebody just cleaning this site next to us, but they cleaned it so quick that he was gone.
Yeah.
Well, literally security was just driving by.
Yeah.
And his name was Chris, and he came, and Jeremy told him, and he's like, did you call anybody? And he was like, we're like, no, we just realized, and super cool. I had no idea. He pulls over, opens the back hatch, pulls out this gadget, and I say
it's like
gadget,
a jumper box.
But it's weird because like usually you have another car and you have this thing is just the box. He puts Jeremy put him on. I don't know.
No, he did.
Supposed
he
to
put him
say.
on.
I know, but he said something about like you did this, right? And
yeah.
I didn't know.
I don't think they're supposed to technically like put the jumper cables on your battery themselves in case. So he did it, but Chris, and the whole time he's telling us jokes. Chris was like, this is one of my favorite cast members. He was amazing. He was a sweet older man.
Little older man.
So he's so jumped.
It was crazy. It was crazy
like
because
that.
he put him on. Well, Jeremy put him on, and then he just said, all right, start the car. And immediately it started. He didn't push anything. I was like, okay, I want a box like that. That's amazing.
Really need one, actually. I'd recommend it for anybody's vehicle as opposed to just jumper cables. Get one of these jumper boxes.
I don't know how much that is. But anyways, he was like, I would let it sit for about 15 or 20. So then we're like, all right, we were going to park up at Fort Wilderness, the front, and then ride the buses. Well, Jeremy's like, literally, by the time we do all that.
So we would have
No, I mean for the internal buses to go.
Oh, yeah. So here's the thing with, again, as we're talking about transportation, if you want to go to Magic Kingdom and you're at your site, you need, unless you have a golf cart, because there is golf cart parking down by the boats, because you can only take a boat to Magic Kingdom. In a car, you would have to drive and park at the front system outpost,
And
then take an internal bus all the way to the back. And I was like, you know what? By the time we go just park at Magic Kingdom and we deal with the tram or we deal with the boat, we deal with the monorail, we deal with whatever, it's just going to be quicker still to drive there.
Yep.
That is if I'm not driving, because I drove in circles for multiple times. I passed the Magic Kingdom entrance twice before I actually got to it. So that's why I don't drive on Disney property. But we got to Magic Kingdom. We were actually in Zurg 407, so didn't even make sense to take a tram.
They didn't even have one.
No, we just walked to TTC and boated over.
Yep. Got on a boat. Boat was there. Immediately got on a boat. Went over. So we were going to just snack at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
That was our plan. Jeremy had quite a few snacks that we could get. Thanks to Rachel. So we were like, okay, well, the first snack we got were the dumplings from Sunshine.
Yeah, the pot stickers from Sunshine
what did I say? Dumplings.
Tree Terrace.
Yeah. Dumplings.
$7.29.
Same thing.
5 dumplings. They're pork and vegetable. They come with a side of an orange ginger sauce.
I did not like that. So once we ate them, they were fine.
They're freezer section grocery store dumplings.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah,
they
not
were
bad.
good.
Yeah.
Great crisp, like
very
you
good
said.
Crisp.
Very good.
Very small though. Not a lot of meaty feeling. Not a lot of filling inside.
But good on the inside.
Yeah.
Perfect temperature.
But I wouldn't recommend anybody waste $7.29 on them.
Okay.
When you can get an entire bag for that amount at your grocer's freezer.
I did not like the sauce. Jeremy did. So after this, and we've been talking about Skipper Canteen, and I thought it's been like 5 or so years, but we did realize that we were there on the 50th.
Yeah, I believe October 1st of 2021 on the 50th anniversary was the last time.
But we are in
sat down and dined
2023.
there. Yeah.
So
it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
So after this, and we have jalapeno poppers, we were going to get those, and we're like, And then I was like, "What? You want to go to Skipper Canteen?" Because we didn't spend a ton, I feel like, of money in, especially after Olivia's.
No, we did pretty good.
We did good.
Yeah, we did good spending this weekend.
So
you know how much merch we came home with? 0.
My necklace.
I don't count that as merch though.
Okay.
We came home with 0 Disney merch for the first time in 8 years. I think.
Yeah. Anyways, so we were like, all right, let's go ahead and do Skipper Canteen. 11:45 for lunch.
Easily got this was at about 10:45.
Oh, and our
booked
Tron
11:45.
By the way, our Tron group number was 49.
Yeah, I did get Tron that morning.
And this was saying we were gonna be. I was like, this might mess us up.
It was estimating a callback of 12:03 p.m.
Yeah,
and we were gonna have an 11:45 lunch reservation. Yep. So we're like, cool. I hope we miss it.
Yep. So, with all that being said, let me give you your normal bullet points here. Jungle Navigation Company Ltd. Skipper Canteen is located in Adventureland at Magic Kingdom. This is African, Asian, and Latin. You do get AP 10% in your Disney Visa. Your lunch runs from 11 a.m. to 2:55 p.m. and dinner runs from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we sat down, and a few minutes later, our Tron was called, and we had to return by 12:50.
Yep.
So we are looking at everything. We were looking at things we have not done. We have actually done everything on the appetizers except the soup.
Yep.
The soup was a carrot and ginger.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, no, but she did say that a secret appetizer is the cheesy bread, which is funny.
Here's the funny part is that it has been off menu for 4 years.
Oh.
The Brazilian cheese bread.
Okay.
Either just put it back on the menu or don't act like it's a secret. Because I was going to ask about it. I actually was going to say.
Well, she said it was a secret.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we're sitting down and we were like, well, let's see. We've never done the soup. So we want to do things we've never done.
Right.
And I was like, but I'm going to ask if they do the Brazilian cheese bread still. Is it still off menu? And she told us beforehand. Yep. Summer. She was excellent. Mm-hmm. Very punny.
Yes, she was.
She was
I'm sure you
so
love
punny.
That.
I did.
So we got that. It was good because it came with a what do you call that
Chimichurri.
sauce? Chimichurri
And a cream cheese.
Cream cheese.
Yeah.
Because we asked for it on the side because there was 9 little balls of cheese bread.
There was a lot.
There was.
Man. Lacey ate one when we got home.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. We brought home about 4 or 5 of them, and
Yeah.
she ate one. Yeah. I have to ask her if she liked it.
Oh, okay. I think it's your normal, like, frozen cheese bread, but it's great that it came with the
sauce. Yeah, the sauce really elevates
and
it.
it was good. It wasn't bad.
No, I thought it was delicious.
I think that's exactly how I always feel about the festival. I like it.
But I've always said the ones at the festival needed a sauce.
Right.
And this has it,
Yep.
so I think it's perfection.
Yep.
This could 100% be a frozen bag from Costco because we've seen it.
Yeah.
And if it is, I'm actually okay with it because I think it's delicious.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful appetizer. They do have cocktails.
They do.
We're exploring the sit-down cocktails at Magic Kingdom.
Technically, they have 2 of liquor, which is a Golden Haze margarita for $16.50, a Jungle Bird for $14.50. Your margarita is normal, but your Jungle Bird is a Gosling Black Seal rum, Capiera liquor,
Campari.
cane syrup, and pineapple and lime juices. I got that one because the margarita at Hollywood, I was kind of like, and this is, again, these are all pre-mixed. Yeah. These are all, they just pour it, in. I actually like the margarita better than the Jungle Bird, so we kind of switched halfway through.
Jungle Bird was very sweet and fruity, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was very
good,
refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have, under the specialty cocktails, is a house-made Skipper Sangria for $12, and then a Jungle Navigation Shandy for $10.50. This is Blue Moon White Ale with Minute Maid Premium Lemonade, and it basically made it taste like a summer shandy. Yeah. It was super good.
Yeah, I got one of these.
I tasted it
as well, and it was like, and I don't drink beer anymore, but this was like a sit by the pool summer, just refreshing beer. Yep. And that lemonade gave it the perfect little lemon kick. I thought it was delicious and refreshing. Yep. I absolutely loved it. Let's move on. Some of the other things that they do have as appetizers. They have a fried rice that we have loved. Mm-hmm. It's the Veranda fried rice. It was a specialty for the 50th, but it's still on the menu and it's pretty much similar. Their falafel is really, really good.
That one's so good that I almost was going to get that as my meal.
Served over hummus. Mm-hmm. They have a jungle green salad, of course, the soup that Rhonda mentioned, and then they have a cachapas, which are these corn pancakes with beer braised pork, roasted corn, pepper salsa, and avocado cream.
That's good too.
We've had that in the past. Good. Love it. All right, for entrees, we said, all right, we are going to get entrees that we've never had. We've been talking about Skipper Canteen a lot lately. It comes up with every dining review. I feel like it's all the time. So after this weekend, we will have tried every appetizer and every entree except for one. Two.
The curry vegetable stew.
Oh, that's you're right. Stew. Okay, so we have not done the curried vegetable crew stew for $21 or the sustainable fish,
correct,
which is not made of piranha, for $32. So next time we go, we'll get these two. In the past, tastes like chicken because it is $28.
So good.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Maybe the best dish at Magic Kingdom. Okay. We have done the Hearty Harsh Char Sioux Pork. Incredible. Skipper Dan's Dan noodles. We absolutely love those as well. What did we go ahead and opt for, though, for our two meals?
We got the... Oh, what is that?
Irrawaddy Irma's Hanger Steak.
Okay, I'm like,
$38.
What? Yep. This is ginger and soy marinated sliced hanger steak served with garlic rice and pickled onions. Okay, so she asked how I wanted it cooked, and I'm like, medium, and I'm like, and she looks at me, and I'm like, I want to say rare. This should be all right. We're in Disney. My brain's working all while I'm looking at her, and I'm like, medium rare, please. And she's like, okay. So, and then Jeremy got the Baba lamb chops for $38. These are spice rubbed lamb chops, cauliflower, potatoes, onions, harissa sauce, garnished with lemons and herbs.
Same thing. Then she said,
oh yeah,
she said, it is recommended medium rare, but we can do it, medium or something else if you want. And I was like,
nope.
I'll take the recommendation. Let's go medium rare on it. Yeah.
So yes, the steak was fantastic, medium rare. It was perfection. It kind of scared me at first when I was trying to cut with my butter knife, but I realized it was sliced. And then I realized that it's kind of like a, what steak do we usually get?
Flank
skirt
steak. Yeah, it very looks like a flank steak. Yeah. Yeah, hanger steak is pretty similar to a flank steak or a skirt steak.
And it was fine.
It's like they had a baby.
Okay.
A tiny steak baby.
It was great.
The steak was so good.
It was so good. And then I actually asked for more because I kind of, I wanted to taste the steak by itself and it was fantastic. Mm-hmm. But then with the rice was great. And then with, honestly, the sauce, the
chimichurri sauce that came with the Brazilian cheese bites. You asked for more
of that.
Which is chimichurri is.
Oh, and that garlic rice though.
I make it a lot of times. I'll do a grilled flank steak with it, and I'll make a chimichurri sauce, and it's perfect. That garlic rice was like.
I wanted to ask another side of that.
Slap you in the face, delicious. Super flavorful. This steak was cooked to perfection. Yeah. If you're used to getting like a filet mignon and medium rare and things like that, getting a hanger steak like this, it's so good. It's so tender. Yeah. It's a little bit stringy in a way, but in a good way. Yep. And she made sure that they did not make a mistake when they cooked it. That came straight from Summer. That wasn't mine. And then the Baba lamb chops. So first of all, they bring this out, and I'm like, do you see an army behind me that you're trying to feed?
There was 4 lamb chops.
Yeah, 4 lamb chops, a ridiculous amount of vegetables. There are these tiny little multicolored potatoes cooked to perfection. There are these little onions that are sliced. They're about 3/4 inch thick, and they are char grilled. And I'm just like, is that a chunk of an onion? Like, it's just... What is this about? Holy moly, it was so delicious. Like, I absolutely loved it. The cauliflower
was great. You said it best. All the things together and the harissa sauce. It was all on point. Flavors.
Here's what I said, and I know everybody's gonna roll their eyes because I always say this is the best whatever. I know, I'm annoying. This is possibly the best seasoned dish I've ever had at Disney.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
you said
so
everything was on
perfectly
point.
seasoned.
Yep.
The lamb, that medium rare, was so super tender. Like, it's one where you start to pick up the bone and you're like, I'm a dog. I'm just going to gnaw on it. Like, you're gnawing on a bone because you want to get every last bit of flavor out. And I just was blown away by this.
Both dishes were fantastic.
In huge portions. We go back to Olivia's, and I thought that pricing was amazing. You look at here and you go, wow, $38 and $38, and we're not at a steakhouse. We're not at a $54 steakhouse. Right. It seems a little expensive, but when they brought out those portions, I'm just like,
they were pretty large.
Well, I have 3. I only ate one of the lamb chops. I have 3 left over.
Yep.
Like,
I almost ate all my steak.
Yeah.
I don't have much left over, but...
We kept talking about Skipper Canteen without being there for a long time. There's a couple restaurants that we talk about all the time, even if we haven't been there in forever. Yeah. Morimoto, Boathouse. Now, we did recently do Sanaa, but things like that. This is why we keep talking about Skipper Canteen. This is an absolute hidden gem. There's not a bad thing here.
I don't know. We haven't had the sustainable fish or
we haven't.
Cruise
Next
stew.
time we'll go for the fish and the stew, I think. But it is so good. The atmosphere is incredible. You get out of the heat. Fun. You relax in Magic Kingdom. If you would like an alcoholic beverage, go ahead and get one because they have beers and wines in addition to the cocktail menu that we talked about. It's so freaking good.
And of course, desserts. I did not get one because
we did not get dessert because we had a plan
to get Little Mermaid cone, but They do have a couple. They have 3 desserts, a coconut bar with pineapple.
I believe we've done
basil.
all 3.
I think we did too, actually, now that I'm looking
okay.
at it.
Yeah.
You know, Conga Lime Delight, which is a mango lime sorbet, you know, stuff like that. It's fine. Like, I would say there's other desserts in Magic Kingdom to totally go get.
So what did we? First of all, talk about
first we
Tron
went
was
to
cool.
Tron.
We were late, but it was cool.
We were like 3-4 minutes late. I mean, so it wasn't like we were 30 minutes late.
We walked up and pleaded our case. We're like, we're so sorry we're a few minutes late, but we had a dining reservation. We can show you. And they're like, no, you're cool.
Yeah, she's like, it's fine.
She's like, you're good.
Yeah, so we got to ride Tron.
I love Tron.
Waiting for the front row. I pretended I was flying.
Yeah.
I would be a bad flyer if I had that power.
You said that, and it was confusing to me.
And then I had a great time. I always do. Then after that, we went to go get because then now we're carrying around this food. We went to go get the Little Mermaid cone, which I saw Michelle Atwood from the Main Street Mouse get, and I was like, ooh, I want this. It is a strawberry Dole Whip and purple cheesecake soft serve. So it is that Dole Whip, like the pineapple one. Which I love a soft serve. I'm a little sad that it wasn't more the ice cream. It was on the Dole Whip side.
Very Dole Whippy.
Which was fine. It was really good. So it is topped with white chocolate crisp pearls and a chocolate seashell served with a blue cone. This was $6.29. It was great, refreshing. I loved it. I did miss like a vanilla.
You thought it needed like a little vanilla to it. This is not a knock on it, but it's one of the most artificial things you will ever eat in your entire life. Like, it tastes artificial.
No, it didn't.
It tastes artificial.
Okay.
It's a blue cone, babe.
Yeah, and pink and purple.
But this is going to be one of those horror stories where, like, you decide that you're going to do a Mickey Mouse cake for your kid's birthday, and it has a lot of black icing, and the next day, all the parents freak out when they see their child poo. That's what this is going to turn into. It's going to be confusing in the morning. I'm just saying. But it was super delicious. It tastes like artificial.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all.
Okay.
But I loved it. I thought it was great.
I thought it was really good, super great and refreshing.
My mind at one point,
because it was a very hot day.
Yeah, I ate it way too fast.
But and then after that, we just went ahead and headed out because we did have the food, and I think I forgot that my daughter was going to spend the night and she couldn't get a ride. So I'm glad we got home. Yeah. And we needed to record, and I have to work all day tomorrow.
And so
here we are.
This was so fun.
It was a great
Thank you. This was such an amazing weekend. I had such an awesome time with you. It was just so cool. You know, you kind of go back to the Father's Day weekend episodes with Rob and Tina and us just kind of winging it. And I know this weekend was kind of winging it. And I understand that's not how everybody does their Disney vacation. But again, I hope this gives options to say, you know, especially once park reservations go away for date-based tickets, you know, here in 2024, you know, maybe if you have enough of a trip where maybe one day you wake up and you go, let's see where the world takes us. You know, let's do bus roulette. Let's just see what park we go to. Let's see where we dine. Let's see where we shop. Let's see whatever we do. I still think there's opportunity. So we're still trying to like experience Disney in every possible way. And this was so cool. I want to do this again. Like, we've done bus roulette before, but not as much as we did this weekend, and it was super fun.
It was.
So thank you. We're probably going to possibly look at October at doing car camping again, 2 or 3 nights. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. If you want to follow along with these adventures, we did a ton of live streams to our Patreon group, the private Facebook group at Wonderland Crew. That was super fun. Thank you all for joining and watching. Again, you can check out wonderlandcrew.com to learn more there. If you want to book a trip like ours, if you want to sleep in your car or at a resort, whatever you want to do, you can hit up mainstmagictravel.com. Chuck and or Amy will help you out, get you all booked and everything. Of course, msmfriends.com. You can find Mouse Dining to book a reservation at Olivia's or Skipper Canteen if you can't get them. And we would love if you subscribe. You get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. And of course, we'd be super thankful if you could leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.